Real Talk with Mo. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff. Check me out YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that good stuff. Lou and Mo Podcast also. Same TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. Check us out. Wanted to get into something real quick. I had something, on my mind from this morning. I was listening to a song. It's crazy. It's a song called like Harry Chapin. I think that's the name of it. It's like, you know, it starts with like the cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. It goes like that, but it's a good. The story is cool. The story is like the story in the song is about a guy working. His dad, his son asked him to play. He's busy working, right? He starts off working, busy working. His son's asking him to play. He's like, I can't do it right now. I gotta go. I gotta play. I gotta go to work. I can't play. Then his son goes to college, comes back. Now he's like, how's it going, son? And his son's like, can I get the keys? I'm ready to go. So he's busy now. Then he gets a little older, he's retired or whatever, and his son has a family, wife, all that work. So he's like, I wouldn't mind you coming over talking for a minute. And that's what he's saying in the song. And in the song, his son's like, I would, but I'm really busy, Dad. Maybe later or whatever. So now his son is, he kept saying, his son was saying in the song, like, I'm gonna grow up to be just like him, Dad. And then in the end, he says, my son grew up to be just like me. It's just a crazy song. It's like an old song. I used to listen to it. My mom, like oldie station or something like that. But anyways, and it made me think about certain things, man. And it really hit me, you know what I mean? Because, I have my son, and, and I try to be I try, to be, there for him all the time. Like if I say I'm gonna do something, I keep my word, right? And he always asks me, he always say, Daddy, you gave me a word. So I try to do that. And I always try to be at the important things, right? Because I'll never know what's gonna be important to him. Like what's that thing that I'm gonna miss that, is really important to him. So I try to make it to all the things, right? Sometimes you can't, right? But I try to make it to all of them, and I at least talk to him about it, and at least I explain it to him. Like, listen, and I don't give him promises or anything that I'm gonna make it and I can't make it. I just don't do that. And I grew up like that. My dad was like that, right? He was one of those. He had a lot going on, right, man? Like, he was. I can't even explain it. Like my dad was, around sometimes, then he wasn't around. He was an alcoholic, so he would, drink, go on binges, be gone. Him and my mom going through it back and forth. And, my mom was like a ride or die. Like, this dude was doing all sorts of craziness, and my mom's still there just holding it down. And, accepting of him coming back. But he just got, get too crazy sometimes. My mom had, 3 kids to take care of too, and to, support. So it was like, after a while, I just got a little too crazy for her to even try to keep doing it. And my dad was alcoholic. All his brothers and sisters were dying at one time. So that was kind of his, reason that he gave me. And then even now, as we got older, I was trying to see him. He'd be at the halfway house or whatever. I try to take my son there to go see him, and I try to connect. So that's why I don't regret anything. At the end of the day, he ended up passing away like on, I think like 2 or 3 birthdays ago from me. Maybe even more than that, probably. But I was in Vegas. I got a call. They found him underneath the tree, and he passed away. But I know he had like liver problems. He used to drink, like binge drink to like throw up type of thing. So, but anyways, got into a long story about that. But anyways, what I was saying was, I don't know why I got onto that story about my dad, but what I was trying to say was, like, I think, I started to think about this, like, you got to give up something in life, right? You can't get everything, right? Even the people that, are successful in business and all that, unless, and I was thinking to myself, like, maybe, after you build up your business, but even when you build your business, you still are a busy person. Like, so you have to make time for your family, but you're still going to miss things, because even owning a business or running a business or working, you're going to miss things, right? It's just one of those things that's going to happen. And, the only thing I would say is, like, for me, is I try to attempt, even at home, I'm never too busy for him. Like, I'm never too busy for him. And, I always try to, if he wants to, he wants to play fight, he wants to karate fight, he wants to show me something on the computer that I know nothing about what he's doing, but I just always pay attention to it because I know that's important to him, right? And he calls me and I answer. So what I was talking about more was like, you can't have everything, right? You're gonna have to sacrifice something, right? If you go on business and you push hard, you're gonna end up losing something in the end. Everything has pros and cons, so don't let anybody ever tell you that you can have it all, because you can't, right? You can't have it all. You're gonna lose certain things. Whatever is most important to you is what you need to pursue. And if that's, and that could be a different things for different people. Don't listen to anybody about some things. It's what's important to you, right? If that's not important to you, like I said, man, like if you're a young person in your teens, 20s, man, pursue the business. Unless you got kids. Some people, in their 20s got kids, but if you're a single person, right, you don't got no kids, man, you can pursue anything, man. Fail, try everything, right? That's my advice for that. But you know what I mean, if you're not and you got situations going on, different things, you got to prioritize what's important, because you're gonna miss something, right? Something's gonna be, if raising your son or your daughters or your kids is not up on the top of your list, then because you could wait, if it's not on top of your list, then it isn't, right? That's fine. It's whatever is important to you. I just, particularly, put that at the top of my list, right? God, family, business type of thing. So I always put that on top of my list, right? I'd rather die a great father and a great husband than die a great businessman. Having them all would be great too. Great businessman, but that's gonna be determined not by you in any ways, right? That'll be your wife, your kids, and then what you left behind business wise too. But I just prioritize that. So if I had to make a choice, I would just make the choice, this would be first before that, right? If I had to make a choice between the two at a time, I would do that. And unless I could find a way to, do both. I mean, sometimes, you have to try. And it just made me think, man, like I said, you can't have everything. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. Everything has pros and cons, right? Any business opportunity that you get has pros and cons, right? Some people, I want to go into business for myself. Well, just know that you're gonna miss time, right, from your kids. Like, your business is gonna take up all your time in the beginning, especially. Even when you start growing it, if it gets to where it keeps growing and keeps getting bigger, you know what I mean? And then people who are on that path usually are entrepreneurs into all sorts of different things, so they end up starting more business. So they never stop starting the businesses. They just have to work the family into it. And if that's something that you want to do that, right? If it's not, and your family is important, do that too. I would say, at least stay busy doing something, right? If it's a person that you don't want to do either, and you don't care about nothing, then that's a totally different person that I'm not talking to, because that's a lazy person, right? Like, you don't really like, you know what I mean? Like, you're the person that would work all day, go home, sit on your ass, right? Not even talk to your kids, talk to your wife, like not even engage with any of that, right? Or do things for them. Like, then we're not talking about the same person. I'm talking about a person that wants to make, try to do everything, right? Wants to try to, have a good business, or be a great employee somewhere, and raise up into the business, but also maintain a family, maintain a wife, maintain your kids, right? Be in their lives, like participate, right? Like, I help my son do homework, man. Like, I try not to miss. I go every time he has to go golf practice, I try to be there, right? I tell him I'm gonna be there, and I most of the time I'm always there, right? I show up, he's happy, excited, right? It's like one of those things, like you can't replace that, right? The time that's another thing. Like, the time you can't get back, right? When my son's growing up right now, he's 11. The last 11 years, I can't replace that. I can't go back when he's 18 and try to recover that time. It's gone, right? Whatever happened, whatever he saw me do, however I reacted, whatever is gone, right? So, you know what I mean? Like, that's something that you got to live with. That's something that you got to sacrifice, right? If that's something that you're willing to sacrifice, then more power to you. I'm just not willing to, in my view. But you're gonna miss that. The time with your other significant other, you're gonna miss that. Just is what it is. Like, you can't get. That's why I say you can't have everything, right? I can't spend time with my family, spend time with my son, not miss anything, and also work a business or you know, be a great employee, or you know, make a lot of income, because I can't do both, right? unless I can take my son with me, you know, and you know, but he wouldn't be able to go to do anything. So you can't really, you just, at the end of the day, no matter how you kind of try to slice it, you can't do everything. You got to sacrifice something. Everything got pros and cons. So just know that going forward, that you know, you're gonna that's the time you're gonna miss. You only have 24 hours in the day, right? You're gonna sleep 8, 16 of them, you know, you're doing whatever, eating, you know, whatever, how many hours, whatever it is, that's all the time you got. After the day is over, the day is over. You can't get that back, right? Today is halfway over. I can't get any of the time back. I gotta use it up, use it while I'm going. And I just think, more importantly, like my legacy with, you know, my son. And business is important too. Money is important. You know, growing something, wealth, right? It's all that's important too. But you gotta kind of balance it out, because, like I said, there's a lot of people that go further, and they regret, you know, they regret the time they lost, right? You know, and I think it's another thing. You know, as you get older and stuff, you know, especially I would say, you know, I don't want to get into that. Let me not get into that, because I was going to get into, like, you know, as a woman gets older type of thing, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm just saying, you know, you're going to win some, you're going to lose. Growing a business, you're going to lose time. It just is what it is. And I just thought that song, you know, it's called Harry Chapin. You could check it out. It's like an old song. I don't know how old it is, actually. It might be in like the 70s or whatever, but actually that's pretty old. It's 50 years old. So, you know, or in the 80s too. So it's a good song. It just made me think about that, you know what I mean? And, like, you know, I don't want to look back and, you know, I miss all this time, and now I want to spend time with my son, and then my son is, you know, has his own family, and I gotta respect that too, right? Like, he ain't gonna come play with his, you know, old ass dad and, you know, talk about what, when he was 15 and you know, we didn't play. So it's like, you know, it's got to be understanding there. And sometimes I think, you know, kids sometimes grow up in that situation and they turn out fine. Maybe they forget about everything. I know when you're younger, I talked to somebody before about that, and when you're younger, the kids don't remember any of it. But at the age when they start remembering, is kind of where that starts to, I don't want to say taint them, but that starts to, you know, like, then their thinking develops. That's when they're like, you know, how to react to things starts to develop in that time, right? Like when they're going through those major milestones, you know, like, you know, I was saying my son getting contacts is like a thing, right? You know, when he goes to get braces, like some of those things are like milestones that he's gonna remember, that if, you know, you miss out on, or you're not part of, or you don't, you know, engage in, you know, to say it's gonna be bad or good, I don't know, but I just know, like, I don't want to miss it, because, like I said, I can't get it back. I can't recreate it later down the road. Just something I miss, right? And, you know, I just think my life, I just think about life on that type of thinking. So I just wanted to get into that. Real Talk with Mo. It's the only real place you won't get the real. Everybody else, they talking, but they ain't really living life. They ain't no real person out here. They selling something. They ain't selling nothing. I'm just trying to keep it real. So y'all check me out, Real Talk Mo, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff.